Welcome to Matters of Black. I'm your host, Just Shay. And of course, we have none other than Kamari Carter Hawkins. So, Kamari, I know that you're a poet. Can you give us a little of your poetry? I want to snap my fingers.
Yes, absolutely. I would love
girl.
to.
Well, let's get started with your poem.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Kamari Carter Hawkins, and I'm going to share with you a new poem entitled, I Hid in the Hotel Gym While My Father Got Married to His New Wife. That morning, my mother dressed me up in egg white lace, brushed my hair in pigtails with glass balls on the ends. I asked my father if he was sure. Are you going to say I do, Dad? My 6 going on 60 was wise enough to know there was room to back out. There was always room. A ram in the bush, a way of escape. The Bible even says that. We rode in limo from my South Central room down the 105 to stop at what looked like a mansion in Downey. Streets so clean, no oil marks, tire skids, or gum grilled by the sun. Dad moved on up without me. We kept on to Long Beach, some hotel that began with an R, some hotel where his wife got dressed in white. I wished it was black. Some hotel with another girl so pretty, so cacao seed, so oil on skin adorned in white daisies. Some hotel where the bridesmaids took pictures and I stood on the side and watched. Some hotel where I sat on the groom's side and watched a processional of important people parade down the aisle and pose on the altar. That was the moment I knew what altar meant. That was the moment I knew what altar meant, and how people place special stones there to prop, to display, and to praise. I wasn't a gym. I ran to the gym to hide on a stagnant treadmill, strong enough to hold my big, big feelings. Granny bursted in and slapped me up. Her worry boiled fury, dragged me back to the reception where I witnessed the last time I seen my dad happy. That's been my life, enjoyed behind the window, a seat on the sideline waiting for someone to dress me in white, parade me down the aisle and say, I am precious stone to be praised.
Okay, Kamari. So, girl, that was deep. So, give me what inspired you to do the hotel poem.
You know, that memory is like etched in my brain. It's like, it's really interesting the things that we remember as kids. Like sometimes I remember the stupidest things. Like, why would I remember such a silly thing? But that day, out of the few memories I have of my childhood, just really stuck with me. And I think it's because I felt, and I love my dad dearly, he knows this, and I know he loves me. But on that day, I was like, oh, I'm not a flower girl. I'm not at least walking on the aisle. I'm not in the pictures. I'm not getting dressed with the other girls. So then I felt like, oh, I'm not your girl anymore. And, you know, I never really knew how to approach that, to talk about it, but I feel like I was given a prompt. I was taking a workshop. Kelly Grace Thomas is a fantastic poet and professor. And I was taking one of her workshops about, I think it was about talking about big things and putting them into a small container. And like that really, I could talk about that on and on and on, but I was like, okay, how can I talk about this moment that I can't forget into a small poem? And I remember being in the hotel, being in the gym, I hid. I didn't tell anybody where I was going. And even when I was in the treadmill, just standing there watching TV, like my granny came in there, what, you know, what are you doing? But it lets you know, like they say, how you are as an adult, like how you deal with problems, is probably how you dealt with problems as a kid. And I would isolate, I would hide, I would go somewhere where I didn't think about it. I just felt like I just need to get out of here. And so I still do that to this day, and I'm trying to not isolate. Now that I know, I'm like, all right, let's speak up, like use your words or find some words to say, I don't feel right. I just need to isolate. I need to be by myself. And so that just lets me know, like, oh, this is probably where it started. I needed to find the words to talk about it. And here I am, like, much later in life, just not really
releasing it. And when it comes to creative people, I always say, watch how you treat us, because we would write it down on pen and
You're
paper.
going to be a poem one day, okay?
A poem. Girl, I have so many TV series I wrote. I had to tell my ex-husband, like, we friends. We're really good friends now. But I'd be like, look, I'm going to do an episode about you.
You're going to be in a special.
Okay. You was acting up. You know what I mean? But also, when it comes to encouraging other young writers, Black writers especially, what advice can you give a young Black writer who wants to get started but doesn't know where to start, but also when they feel discouraged because they don't see enough of our people, you know, on the shelf?
Gosh, I wish I saw more people on the shelf when I was younger and that weren't like seniors. Because in my mind, I'm like, oh, I'll be a writer when I'm 60, 70. Like, it just seemed like that was the thing to do. Like, when you retire, you write a book, not when you're, you know, starting out your teens, 20. Now, like, kids are putting out books. I'm like, hey, if I knew that, but that was a different world, whatever. But starting out, one thing that was always a companion for me was journaling. And I feel like anyone, whether you're creative or not, should journal, because that's how you get your feelings out and you sort through your, if you can get the junk out, or the gunk out rather, you can now clear that out and then create. So I would say start with journaling. Secondly, you know, sometimes people say like, oh, go to workshops, have other people put their eyes on it. But honestly, when you're first starting out writing something, you know, really, you know, investigate who is looking at your stuff, because when we're starting out crafting, we're so fragile.
Yeah.
We're a little bean sprout, you know, that could easily get stomped on just by saying, oh, you wrote that? Like, that could really stick with someone and hurt. It could damage. So I would say be very, very, very specific with who you share your stuff with. Then after you get that muscle strengthened, you're like, okay, now I'm ready to like share my stuff, and then and be open to feedback. Then you do the feedback, go to workshops, share with a close friend. There's a lot of workshop opportunities online and in the community and wherever city you're in. And then when it comes to publishing, you kind of want to get your work up to something that's like, you know, good quality that someone would want to publish. It's quality, it's objective, but really think about your themes. A lot of people are like, oh, I'm just gonna write a poetry book, but now it's kind of like, what's the theme behind that? Okay, poetry on self-love, poetry on growth, or, you know, like find the theme, and that's a little bit more marketable. Self-publishing, there's so many opportunities to self-publish. Kindle Direct Publishing, Lulu, those are like the top, I think. But I would say if you're gonna self-publish, I help people self-publish, but I think you should.
This is what we hear.
Yes, should work with a professional. Like, sometimes we want to do things by ourselves, and I get it. You know, pat yourself on the back, but sometimes you need a professional designer to do your stuff. That way, you can rise above the crop. You know what I mean? Look
kind of stand out in the crowd.
Stand out. Look a little bit more professional. Because I've been looking at books for many, many years, and I could kind of spot like, ooh, that looks self-published. And a lot of it is not because it looks bad. It's because maybe the image, or like it's always this this picture.
The corny. You remember the 90s pictures we used to go to the 1 hour photo?
It looked like, boycott those. We're not doing this anymore. Or like Canva. Canva's a great resource, but unless you have like the pro account when there's like different fonts, if you're using the same fonts, everybody's using them. Right. So I just say use a professional, because they could make it, you know, make it a little bit more unique. It's really what it is.
Well, girl, thank you so much for joining us.
Talking forever about publishing.
No, right, exactly. And that's why we're here. Season 2, that's what it's all about, you know, Black authors. But I thank you so much. Of course, Matters of Black, thank you for joining us. And of course, we might see you throughout the season. And let's tell people where they can find you again.
Absolutely. So on all the socials, the TikToks, the Instagrams, whatever, at Kamari Creative, or you can follow Mama's Kitchen Press at mamaskitchen.press.
Well, you heard it. We love y'all. This is just Shay, and we are signing out of Matters of Black. We love y'all. Bye.